All right, and with that, we are good to go. Give me 1 second. All right, well, welcome back to Group 5, Session 6. How is everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Okay. Um, Unfortunately, we will not be seeing Ethan or Kato tonight. Uh, they have their own things that unfortunately will impede them from being at tonight's session, but that is okay. So, with that, where did we leave off last session?
Mid combat in the water, going fast.
Yep, pretty much. Uh, so yeah, as you all had uh, taken on the quest given by the court of Asgard, you all ventured forth to the Isles of the Demogorgon in order to hopefully attempt an assassination. And with this journey came a surprise attack from some demons from within the waters. And with that, we can just get straight into the session. So let me get everything set up correctly. All right. Let me share my screen for some tunes. Turn that down a bit. All right. And with that, we can get straight back into the combat. So, had, as you all continue to combat these different these wastrelists on top of your horses, I say that, but Sarkissian has decided to jump off of his horse and decided to battle this thing in the water, which is just fantastic. But nevertheless, you all the combat and this the top of the round. But before the top of the round, one person who hasn't had his turn throughout this entire combat, Yugen, who's actually gonna just is actually just going to soar up to about there. You watch as you're tossing with these wastrelets. You see this raven fly from the top of this apple and shoot up into the air and just let out a sonorous raven's cry. He's gonna cast a 4th level mass healing word on the entirety of the party. Allow this character sheet. Just a little extra boost. Yeah, oh, yep. So everybody gains 7 hit points as he lets out this summoning cry, and then he's gonna just look to the one combating Sarkissian to his left, and is just gonna let out a little fireball, which is gonna miss. So you just watch as he like shoots up into the air, gives out a cry, and then he looks down to Sarkissian's wastrelith on the left and lets it out, but the fireball kind of shoots across the water and just fizzles. And then he's just gonna return back to the Phantom Sleep that he was on. that, top of the round, it is Sarkis.
I'm going to jump back on my horse thing.
Okay. With that, you can, the wish lift that has been targeting you is going to be making an attack of opportunity against you. Is that fine? Or do you want to not do that?
I'm gonna spend a key point and
Disengage.
yeah.
Okay. So you spend a key point and then leap back onto your phantom steed.
Yep.
Is that the end of your turn?
I don't know. Is that considered a move action or is that an attack action?
That
Like,
is a bonus action to use your key point to disengage. So you still have your action to attack.
am I able to attack as I'm leaving?
You could say you attacked one of the wastreliths before you disengaged.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead and attack. This is towards the left. Oh, the one on the right. Okay. A 23 definitely hits as you kind of just like leap up into the air, and as you see it like swimming in the water, you kind of just give it an elbow to the ground. As it, oh, that's not what that's there now. Yeah, you kind of give this thing the elbow as you deal 7 points of bludgeoning. Okay. Okay, so then you set the bolt onto your phantom steed. Doesn't seem phased, is still moving. I think now we're moving at a slower speed because you were in the water initially, but is that the end of your turn?
Yep.
Okay. This wastrelith is going to snap back at you, jumping out of the water to make a bite attack. Which does not hit, so it's going. So you just watch it leap out of the water and just give a towards you. As it falls back into the water, do you want to use your reaction?
Yep.
Okay. A 10 does not hit, unfortunately.
Alright.
As you kind of just reel backwards to try to avoid the snapping, and then you try to wind back up for another punch, but it already has fallen back into the water. Okay. With that, that's going to be the end of its turn. Dustin.
Alright. This one over here. I raise my finger towards it, kind of flatten my hand out till it's just a bit of open palm, and I say a soft prayer as a light comes out from it and flies toward the target. That was a whisper, but 22 to hit.
Say a prayer, extend out your hand, and a radiant celestial eldritch blast goes flying through the air. 22 definitely does hit for a 3 doubled to 6 radiant damage.
And after that, I'm going to look down and I'm just going to start trying to curse this one out. I don't believe it knows Dwarven, but he's trying.
Okay. Sounds good. Alright, Calda.
I guess I'll... It's not in hand-to-hand with me, right?
There is no one hand to hand.
Okay, so then I'm going to try and... I'll shoot an arrow at it if I can.
Alright, sounds good. Are you hitting the one directly below you?
No, the one that's already injured over here. No, no, just regular one, and I'll just not use sharpshooter on this one. I'll just use regular.
Okay.
Oh,
Natural one will not hit, and
gosh, damn it!
shoot off, and you. I'm actually gonna. You shoot off as you're trying to strike at this waist relay, but as it does, you see this. You see that ogre who has been trying to intimidate. Ogre and Jormungandr, who have been trying to intimidate this wastrelith with their flailing tentacles. You accidentally strike your arrow through one of the tentacles as he just rides from that strike.
Sorry. My sun was in my eyes.
Okay. Do you want Blixty to do anything during this turn? He does have his
Blixty is going to swoop around and take the aid action for Brugo.
Okay. So he kind of just goes on like, get him! With that, you see Ulger's Ulger's snake, which he's been referring to as Jormungandr. He's been striking at this wastrelith, just trying his darndest to try to actually hit this guy. I believe he actually managed to do it once, but you see that this snake has been getting hissed, and as he gears up a very slow and ready strike, you almost see the scales peel away on a portion of the snake's body, revealing these scaly but angelic wings for a constrict attack. 19 is going to hit for 10 damage, and you just watch as he strikes forward towards the wastrelith and wraps this 40-foot length of body around this wastrelith. Grappled, and they're gonna start flying backwards, unable to keep up with the rest of the group. With that is the end of at the end of Jormungandr's turn. That was 10 points of legendary damage. And with that, Brugo's turn. Brugo is going to have his mount pick up speed a bit to closer towards up to his wastrelith, and with let me check his stat. What's he gonna do?
And if he attacks, his first will be at advantage thanks to Blixty.
That is correct. So he does have a blade. Yes, it does. So with his glaive, he's going to make a strike with advantage, which is a natural 20. So he's gonna roll that 8 damage, and then let's see if he can do any. No, it does not look like he's able to. He does have one spell slot left. So let me check something. Okay, so he's gonna use his last spell slot to roll to deal an extra 12 damage, which is going to that is going to be the end of Brugo's turn. Olgir is going to continuing on the back of the causes them to struggle. A constrict attacked towards this Waishlift beside him. Out and once again, like the tentacles colliding with the water, the water kind of just swats his tentacle out of the way. You all are moving at still pretty decent speed. But unfortunately, that is going to be the end of his turn. The Waishlift, which one is this? This one's right here. He's going to make a retort attack towards swipe mid-air. A 13 does not hit. Brugo is going to retort with his reaction. 25 definitely hits. For 3 reinforcements. Apologize, there's a lot of NPCs going at once. He's just gonna let out a fireball. 17 is going for 7 fire damage towards the one at the very far left. His next Waishlift is going to try to make a strength check to free himself from Jormungandr. DC is 15. So he's going to free himself. And then this next one is also going to make another jumping attack towards Sarkissian. For 21 for 5 piercing, unless that doesn't hit.
No, it doesn't hit.
Alright. With all of those NPCs out of the way, again, I apologize. Sarkissian, top of the round, your turn.
I'm going to wait to attack until it jumps out of the water at me.
Okay. So you're going to use your action. Alright. This Waishlift right here, to your right, is actually going to make a lunging attack. So it's going to make a little light attack. So that's a natural 1, which does not hit. So with that natural 1, I'm going to say go ahead and hit this with advantage. If you want to use your ready action on this one. 24 is definitely going to hit. But just barely doesn't hit critical. For 10 bludgeoning. As you kind of just leap out of the air, you kind of see this, you kind of just fucking uppercut it in the face, and it just goes flying like it just goes flying in the air, dealing 10 bludgeoning damage. With that, Justin.
Alright, is this thing still flying in the air?
It has crashed down to the ground. Again.
Ah.
I
Alright.
think if you wanted to use your reaction, you could if you wanted to, as it's leaving your space.
Oh, if it was still up there, I was going to try skeet shooting with Eldritch Blast. but seeing how it's hit the water like this, I am going to point my target over to this one over here and start firing away instead.
Okay.
13?
13, unfortunately.
Oof, too bad.
As you shoot off and it manages to kind of move out of the way. The Eldritch Blast kind of fizzles away in the water. Okay, is that your turn?
I'll use my bonus action to yell out for Blix to start attacking.
Yep. Called him.
I am going to shoot the one directly below me, and this time I will use sharpshooter. My luck is bound to change, right? Oh, nope. An 8. But not a 1, though.
Not a 1. Alright.
Okay, I missed. That's it.
Okay. With that, Blixty.
Alright, Blixty is going to swoop in and he's going to get as low to the water as he can. And when this thing rises up, he's going to be ready to drive a stinger at it as it makes its way out.
Okay. Norman Gander is going to make another strength attack. 17 does hit for another 8 damage. As he's currently just this Wakesulith is just is like trying to free itself. You can almost see it off in the distance. It's like struggling to free out, but as soon as it does, you get this wandering back on. He has been failing to attack this thing, but now has had the perfect opportunity. With that, Brugo is going to make another glaive attack. I'll say he has advantage because Dusty, you were there. 5 force damage. Okay. And with that, Ulger is going to try to. He's going to try to make a tentacle attack. 15, I think. Wait, let me check. 15 isn't AC, so it's going to take 11 bludgeoning damage. And then he's going to make a quick strength check. And yeah, you just watch as Ogre, for the third, on the third Wakesulith he's targeted, lifts up this thing out of the water. It just begins flailing like a fish as he grasps it like half of his tentacles. Do you want Blixty to use the stinger now?
Yes, please.
Okay.
10 does not hit.
As Blixty is kind of waiting, he's like, I'm gonna get him, and he's almost surprised at the sudden rupture. He's like, oh shit! And he misses. Alright. But this Wakesulith is going to try to make a strength check to try to free itself. It's not going to have advantage. But and it doesn't release itself. DC 16. So with that, he's just still flailing in the air. Hugin. He's got a lot of AoE spells, but not a lot of other spells. Yeah, he's just gonna firebolt at the guy currently grappled. Actually, now I think about it, because he was grappled by Ogre, Blixty would have advantage on that.
Oh.
16 does hit. So he's gonna take 3 piercing.
If he's bothered by poison, he has to do a DC 11 con save.
He is immune to poison damage, as all humans are. With that, advantage towards the flailing one in the air. 14 unfortunately doesn't hit. This Wastrolith is going to once again try to free itself. Doesn't succeed. This Wastrolith is going to make another. He's actually going to pull back away a bit. He's going to. You watch as. You watch at Sarkisian as it almost begins to slow down, like it's trying to retreat a bit, before launching its head out of the water, and a spout of water comes shooting towards you. I'm gonna need you to make a strength saving throw. Oh. All right. So
Jesus.
yeah, no. You are able to just get wrapped up in yours as you burst all of this water that has begun magically wrapping itself around you. You feel what almost felt like the burning sensation of acid, but you don't fucking care. You just break out of it, and you don't even take the 2d8+4 acid damage that it was about to deal to you. With that, it is your turn.
I'm just gonna hold action until someone jumps out of the water at me.
Sounds good. Speaking of which, this one's gonna once again try to make a one attack towards you. Launching out of the water for a 21. Fail. So go ahead and make your attack. Natural 1. That is unfortunately not going to hit. As you go for a lunge, and you almost slip off of your phantom steed in the process, but you're able to hold yourself steady as it just falls back into the water. Both of you missing your blows. Dusty.
Alright, that one that keeps jumping out at Sarkisian, it's too close for an Eldritch Blast, so I'm going to instead try to drop a Sacred Flame upon him. Okay.
A 20? So that's
Yeah,
gonna
that
succeed.
beats.
Does it take half damage?
No, cantrip.
Okay. So you just watch as you raise your hand in the air and you call forth these fireballs that shoot down to the ground, and they all see some dots in the water, and they all kind of just fizzle in the water as they make contact. Is that your turn?
I am going to draw my dagger.
Okay, sounds good. Golda.
I am going to try and repeat exactly what I did last time.
Alright, sounds good.
Hey, that looks better.
Hey, that is better. Are you using sharpshooter with this?
Yes, yeah. That's exactly what I did last time, too.
That still hits. Go ahead. What's the additional damage?
10, so it's 20 total.
Okay. That is exactly the amount of HP it has, so how do you want to kill this thing?
I think I'm gonna go for, like, through the gills, so, like, when it gets back down, it, like, can't breathe and it just drowns to death.
Okay. So, actually, on its turn, you actually see it lunge forward towards you, and trying to hit this thing, you've been honing in your aim on this thing, checking all those stuff like wind pressure and shit, and when you finally get the right shot, you shoot it, it goes into the thing's gills, it rides back, and you just watch it flail in the water and suffocate.
Jerk face.
Filling its
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Blixty.
He was told to fight, so he's going to fight. Whether he wants to or not, unfortunately. As he charges forward and tries to just dive into the water, fangs first, and just try and bite onto it and grab hold.
Okay. Unfortunately, a 7 is not. And also, now I think about it, Calvin, just for me, just to make sure, go ahead and roll one more time, because you actually targeted the one that was being held up in the air by Ogre. So if you want
Oh,
to
you want me to roll another attack?
just another attack to see if you rolled with advantage on that.
There you go.
Alright, never mind.
So yeah, so it being held up in the air, you finally get your perfect shot, and it goes skin right through the thing's gills, and Ogre just lets it go and crashes back into the water. Blixty, you see Blixty rush forward with lunging its jaws towards it, but you watch as it dives through the water, and once again, like all of Ogre's tentacles that have missed, it just sweeps his head, unfortunately not able to break the tension of the water. With that, Jormungandr is going to make another attack. 15, so it's going to be 25 piercing, which is going to you finally see after 3 rounds of Jormungandr and this Wastrelith fighting with each other, it finally sinks its teeth in. You almost hear a from all that far away, and it falls dead. Brugo is going to... He's going to hold this action. Just wait on something off to the side here. Olger is going to do the same. Just let Sarkissian and Dusty deal with these last 2. Unless it takes too long. This guy, Hugin is going to make a fireball. He's actually going to take the perfect opportunity that this Wastrelith all the way in the back has given it, and he's going to try to finish it with an ice sword. Is technically higher, but not high enough. Alright, so it's going to take half of that damage. Half as much of a success. Okay, so yep, it's going to take 2 bludgeoning and 7 cold all the way back here. After kind of just like avoiding the cone of cold, the ice storm gets a little bit. He's gonna try to once again make a gonna try to do the same thing he did before. So I'm going to need another strength save from Sarkissian.
What do you need? Sorry.
A strength saving throw, please. Watch as once again as it kind of slithers away from the ice storm and then lunges forward, shoots out some more water, and focusing on the one before, on the one to your left, you turn just in time to watch the water once again wrap around you. You feel this burning sensation as it wraps itself around you. You're going to take acid damage. So that's going to be 17 acid damage. And you are going to be pulled off of your mount right in front of this wastrel. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And you're not grappled or anything. You're just pulled this far, this close to him. Perfect opportunity to lay in some damage. As it is your turn.
All right. So I'm not wrapped up anymore. I'm just.
No, it was literally just you took acid damage and were pulled close to your mount. All of the water around you has disseminated, and you are free to just wail on this thing.
All right. All right, I'll attack it.
Okay. 21 definitely hits for bludgeoning damage. Are you doing anything else?
So you use your bonus action for an offhand attack.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that too.
Are you out of key points?
I got one just in case.
That does also hit for 9 bludgeoning. This guy is now at half health.
Yep.
Alright, sounds good. This wastrel loses its target is actually going to turn its attentions to Blixty. As it's going to make a bite attack, just snapping in the air for 23 for 9 piercing damage.
I'm going to do something about that with my reaction here.
Sure.
I would like to soak 4 of those damage, please.
So you watch, you watch as Blixty his waistline snaps forward and just completely engulfs Blixty in the jaws. And then you
Oh, no.
see light peeking through its teeth and this story shoots out as Blixty, now with this golden aura around it, flies out of the mouth, kind of just shaking off its acidic saliva. Shit! Absorb all of that damage, or half of that.
Yes.
Okay. With that, it is your turn.
Okay, this one down below me has been causing me all kinds of headache here. All I can do is attempt to Sacred Flame him because he's too close to shoot Eldritch Blast.
Okay. He's gonna make a 16. That's gonna save. He's gonna. You see a lunge forward and then just once again kind of recurse back into the water as you launch a Sacred Flame and it misses.
And I would like to use my bonus action to call my familiar to me.
Okay. Call them.
I'm gonna go for the one in front of Dusty. I'll just do regular, not sharpshooter.
Lixie also kind of just like flies back. He's like, this shit, I'm fucking. He just curses himself out, trying to shake off all of this saliva.
13. No sharpshooter, just regular. So just 13.
Either way, it's gonna hit. So, damage, which again is exactly the HP. So how you did.
Look at that. I'm very efficient.
Very efficient when you actually hit things.
I think like as soon as Blixie gets out of his mouth, he's probably like it's open a little bit because he's like, oh, this thing just flew out of my mouth, and I would like the arrow to just go right into it, like hit him fucking in his acid sac in his mouth, and just kill him.
So as Blixty shoots out of the thing's mouth, kind of flies out of the water a little bit. As Blixty flies out, he just scampers away, and you just see a arrow just sink into the witch's mouth, and it falls backwards as it drops to 0. With that, is that your turn?
Oh yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Okay. Blixty.
In this state, I'd have Blixty trained to just climb back into my bag before he gets hurt more.
Okay. With that, he climbs into your bag and also kind of just disappears as he kind of simultaneously crawls into your bag, what it looks like, but what's actually happening is he's slipping into a little pocket dimension. He's out of here. Jormungandr, after dealing with this target over here, is gonna just and is going to shoot its way right over to this guy. It's gonna make a bite attack. Make a single bite attack. 15 for 10. And so Sarkissian, as you're pulled in, you kind of just follow it up with a slam in the face. You almost have this thing on. You almost have like a grasp on it, like kind of swimming alongside it as you're just wailing into it with your unarmed strikes. And out of nowhere, you just see a snake just pouts onto the waistlet, also just driving itself into its neck. With that is the end of Jormungandr's turn. That is, Brugger's gonna hold its action. Ogre's going to actually wild shape back into human form. And Hukin is also gonna just hold it. Yeah, he's gonna fly over. Seeing Sarkissian, he is going to actually upcast a healing word. Just for it, because he doesn't think he's going to need it again. You gain 14 points of healing as he upcasts them to level 5. With that, this Wastrel is going to try to retaliate. He's going to... he's not grappled, so he's going to just make 2 claw attacks. One towards Sarkissian and one towards not towards he doesn't have advantage on this, so that's going to miss. And then towards Jormungandr, that's also not going to hit. So he kind of just flails around, struggling. He's got 2 people on him, just flying around. He kind of reaches I hit my mic with my jacket. He kind of flails around with 2 of his claws trying to reach you guys, and he does not do so. With that, Jormungandr is actually behind him, so Sarkissian, you can make these next attacks on your turn with advantage. Okay, that 21 does hit. Last 2 blows to the Wishlith. Sarkissian, how do you want to do this?
Whatever, I just punch him until he leaves me be.
Okay, so as you see Jormungandr is tearing at the neck of this thing, you start grabbing on the Wishlith. And you just see it each time it just until both strikes knock the head of this wastrelith off of its neck as it goes flying off, and as this thing is dead. All right, and with that, we are now out of combat. Close off the turn order. They're all kept up with, all of the mounts are kept to a steady speeds, so you should be able to just stay, so you should be able to easily get back onto your mount. Jormungandr returns to Olger, and kind of slithers back up, almost wraps itself like a belt, and then you just watch it camouflage back into like a leather belt around Olger's waist. And with that, that is the end. That is the end of combat.
Gonna have to call Blixty back out so I can heal a man so he can translate for me.
Okay. Yeah. So you just pull him back out. And he's like, okay, are we done?
Yes, you did wonderful.
Oh, okay. Thank you. As you heal him for 3 hit points.
I guess the question is, was that just a patrol, or do they know we're coming?
I'd rather not be here to find out if they do know, but
No. Yeah! Yeah, spectral horses.
Okay.
let's get the hell out of here.
All right. So you all gain the benefits of a short rest as you all continue forward towards the island, towards the Isles of the Jormungandr, with not the Jormungandr, the Isles of the Demogorgon, as which are now actually within sight at the end of this combat. With that, as kind of the afternoon sun begins to set on the horizon, kind of hiding your approach ever so slightly. How would you all like to? That's not the right one. How would you all like to approach the Isles of the Demogorgon? As you could see,
Yikes.
as you approach, there's all these different. You could see these like creatures that you could almost mistaken for seagulls or other kinds of birds. But actually, you can go ahead and make a perception check if you want to take a look at those. Fucking Dusty. Yeah, you from your prior knowledge of demons and taking a good look, you see that almost like bats, bat-like creatures, except for the body of which is that of an orc skull, as it looks as these are. I gotta properly pronounce this. As these are called Varghouls, which are essentially the orcish or any form of deceased heads of fallen soldiers that have been turned into these fiendish thralls that kind of just like fly around like bats. And it's literally just a decapitated head with flesh-like wings on either side of its head. And they seem to be flying around the island, almost acting like scouts or like trying to patrol the area.
Varghouls. This isn't good. Those poor soldiers.
Well, they're not static, right? They're moving.
They are all like flying around. They're all kind of like circling around. You know, if you roll a decent, you also know. Actually, yeah, Dusty, make a history check with advantage.
Alright, let me turn the advantage on. There it is.
You'll have advantage because there are other people that would.
Oh!
Fucking what is happening? That is 2 nat 20s in a row. Back to back. Okay. On a natural 22 or a nat 20, Um, yeah, you know that these things, they patrol. They patrol area. They're kind of like scouts or like patrols. They have terrible vision. So you know, with like at least a decent stealth check, you should be able to just avoid their gaze, especially with the night drawing near. They don't actually have dark vision
All right. Um,
unless
these
they're.
things, they can't see too well in the dark. I suggest we find somewhere along the shore, a little inland, and just quietly hunker down somewhere hidden.
Yeah, I mean, looks like there's some ruined buildings near shore on the southern side of the island, so maybe that'd be a good place.
I'd be a lot of those creatures to get past, though.
Are we down in this corner here? Is that where we're at?
You are in like the southern area, like the southern bit. You can basically approach from the bottom side up, however which way you want to, from being this far away.
That's what I'm thinking. So, like, we hit here, they're kind of spread out, and there's some cover immediately, so we can get cover right away.
I'd say come in from around this point.
Yeah,
Looks like the most distance.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just hope there's nothing in those ruins.
All right. Just a bit of more description of it. It's like this island itself is more elevated in the air. There's like a whole like 50-foot rock elevation from the islands itself. It looks like, but it looks like there are patches and like caves that are able to be hidden, that are able to hide in, but getting up to the surface might take a little bit more of a struggle. If you don't, there are some like hiding holes and like cave systems that seem to be poking out from the sides of these, of the island itself.
Should we duck into one of those until we can explore the ruins? As I point to one of the closer to shore caves.
Yeah, I mean, immediate cover is priority over, exposure. So,
All right. Well, let's see if we can sneak our way in. If not, if we have to fight one of them, let's make it quick so it can't alert the others.
Okay. With that, I'd like stealth checks from all three of you.
Oh boy.
Okay. Yeah. Calda and Sarkissian very easily are able to sneak past, and Dusty, even with a 10 to stealth, you are able to beat their 8 to passive perception. So you all are able to make your way to one of the cave systems of this island, and it seems like and it seems very empty. It almost looks there's not a lot that seems to go on in these cave systems. It's, aside opposing the like top area, which seems to have the most commotion going on. But yeah, you seem to have this like open cave system that also seems to act like a tunnel system throughout this island.
All right.
nice.
Should probably do a general check of the cave further back, just to make sure we're not in the mouth of something's den. And then find a spot and get comfortable, boys.
Okay. Who is conducting this investigation?
I think I have probably the most superior dark vision, so I'll check it out. Plus, I'm invisible in darkness to anything that has dark vision, so
Okay. Is anybody helping out?
I will poke around.
Dusty will help.
Okay. So, Calda, you can roll an investigation with advantage. Or whoever has the higher investigation can do so.
Me.
Go for it.
Okay. So on an 18 to investigation, you find this cave system seems to sprout all across. It almost looks like all of these different channel systems seem to be connected. All of the caves that you were able to see along the sides of the wall seem to connect to each other in some way. But overall, it seems pretty empty. It almost Dusty almost reminds you of Svartalheim, but with less light somehow. But yeah, investigating, it seems pretty empty. Doesn't look like anybody ever comes down these caves.
We're clear.
All right. With that, Dusty is going to find a spot that's fairly decent in, like a good 30 feet from the mouth of the cave, and set up his bedroll behind a boulder. Start making a little personal space there.
Okay. Chris and Corey, are either of you doing anything else before you all seem to take a rest?
I'll take the first watch since I don't really need to rest all that much. So
Okay.
I can take the first watch. Just keep an eye, make sure we're clear, make sure there's no passing patrols or anything like that.
You can have Blixty stay up with you and watch.
Sounds good. I mean, I'll switch off at some point because I don't want to get exhausted, but I'll take first watch.
Okay. So with that, you all gain the benefits of a long rest. Calda takes the first shift of the night. Uh, does anybody want to take the second shift, or you? If not, probably Brugo and Ogre will probably take that as well.
I'll take the second shift, but during the rest, could I also attune to my spear, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Calda, make a perception check.
So we had a short rest on the before we landed, and then we're gonna have a long rest, right?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to use some of my ki then to heal myself.
Well, you don't need to because the long rest will bring you back to.
Oh, will it bring it back to full? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
13.
Okay, 13. All seems fine. You can hear almost the cries of Aesir soldiers, but you from the mouth of this cave, but you discern that they are just the Varghouls that are just flying around like seagulls.
Creepy.
On the second shift, Dusty, go ahead and make a perception check.
16.
16, a little better. Still nothing around. The Varghouls are still crying. It's almost amazing that people are able to sleep with them, just screeching like seagulls. But overall, nothing too iffy. How far stretched are these? Are these shifts? There is so there are 32 hours in a night, and then
What? A night is 32 hours long?
yes, this has a custom time system, which
Jesus Christ.
This world has a custom time system. I don't want to get into the lore of it, but the calendar system and the time system all runs on multiples of 8. So a full day is 64 hours, and it's a 32 night, 32 day hour system.
6-hour shifts, and someone will have to go again.
That's assuming we want to wait until the night's over.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you want to just spend a long rest, which would still be 16 hours, you can still you can definitely do so.
and then the night will give us some additional cover too. We can poke our heads out and see what we see, or I can, if you want.
Yeah, we're just hibernators. Nice.
I think like after I get a long rest, I would look for a way to like an easy access to at least peek around on the surface and judge about how far to the nearest ruins we are and like what kind of exposure we're looking at. Is it all open terrain? Is it all kind of rocky terrain so it'll be a little bit easier, or what are we looking at?
There is it looks like the so it looks like there's a lot of it's mostly snow that patches this area. You'd actually be able to find on this investigate on your investigation prior, you would be able to event find an actual cave channel that makes its way up to the surface in the center of one of these ruined towns that is around. You see that the entire area is covered in snowfall. It seems like it's been snowing for. It seems like snowfall and winter is the prime season of this island. But kind of like moving, but something feels a little bit off, and you kind of move away the dirt, the snow, and it's not really dirt ground. It's like charred land, like scorched earth, encompasses this entire island. And you kind of see around there are dead trees that look like they've been burned away. The buildings all look exploded. It looks ruined and it looks aged, like it's been here for hundreds, maybe 1,000 years. But you are able to you basically are in a. It's not very rocky. It's a mixture of the two. It's a mixture. There's very large open fields sometimes, and you'd actually be able to see from the town that you emerge from, which is like which is the island, which is one of the villages on the edge of the island. You'd still be able to see where they keep their Felidar, which is on the northern most part of the island. You'd still be able to see at a certain vantage point these massive lions that look very undead in nature, kind of black void eyes with smoke kind of trailing from them. Their fur and mane is almost tattered in multiple different places. Their teeth are jagged. These massive tusks kind of emerge from either side of the face. They look unholy, and they seem to be herded and corralled like by these shadow demons that kind of just these little visages of darkness that kind of just swim around in the night, kind of just making sure that kind of just patrolling and keeping check on the Felidars.
Do they have like a physical form, or are they ethereal?
They have a physical form. But like their movements almost reveal kind of like bits, like their entire body is like condensed shadow.
Can it be replicated with the disguise self spell or no?
It looks like it could be.
Okay, then I'm gonna spend some time studying their mannerisms so that if I imitate one, I can move like them and I don't stand out.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an insight check. Okay. You seem confident in your mockery abilities and seem to have a uh you have a character that you can play, and you almost look like you've been watching them for a bit. You think you should be able to mimic them.
Okay. And then I'm gonna just spend a bit of time looking at the routine or whatever,
Okay.
so I get an idea of like
These things.
windows of opportunity and where food might come from, that kind of stuff.
Okay. How long do you go? Do you sit through this process? How long are you waiting to like observe them?
A couple hours, I'd say.
Okay. Watching them for a couple hours. These shadow demons don't look like they sleep. Don't look like they eat. They definitely seem like they exhibit the deathless nature of an undead fiend. And so too do the Felidars, as you don't ever see them eat. You don't ever see them sleep. You just see them simmering in rage. Like a caged tiger, just constantly just prowling around with this deep-seated anger on their faces. They feel like they know nothing more than carnage and destruction.
Oh well, that's pleasant. Okay, so the actual lion things don't eat.
The lions don't eat. The Felidar don't eat. The shadow demons don't look like they eat. The shadow demons actually don't look like they do anything other than keep check on the Felidars.
And the Belladars don't. There's no prey, no food, no nothing. They just
Nope.
wander around.
Yeah, they just seem to wander around, deep-seated anger, almost like they're waiting for something to do, some orders to give. And at some points, you would actually see the Felidar seem like their carnage and destruction is almost restless as they kind of snap at the shadow demons, almost try to start fighting with each other, trying to. They look like they're just aching for a fight, and nothing seems to come, and they don't really have anything else to do about it but fight each other.
Okay. I guess I go back down.
Okay. You return back to the camp.
See.
Who has Sarkissian? Are you doing a third shift, or are you letting the Brugo and or Olger do that shift?
No, I'll do third shift.
Okay. So as everybody kind of just like everybody seems to continue to try to sleep and get some rest. I'm not entirely sure what everybody would be doing, at least the NPCs. But Hugin seems awake. Jormungandr seems asleep but watchful. As Sarkissian, you're taking the first shift, and Kalda finally returns after a few hours of his antics.
I'll let everybody know everything I saw, so you guys can strategize.
Okay. Everybody at this point is probably awake to assess this information. And yeah.
Well, that sounds like this might be a job we could pull off. I mean, if they're ready to fight the shadows, all we have to do is fuel that a touch, and they'll revolt.
Yeah. But we gotta make sure, like, they don't
attack us.
Or also that they might just respond to the Demogorgon or whatever as like a dominant voice, so they might not attack him, which is what we want.
So do we destroy the shadows, or do we try and thin their numbers? Or just try and hunt down this Demogorgon?
Hmm. Um, I don't know. We don't know where he is, but I'm guessing he might be in that big structure that's like kind of separated from the island a little bit. If I had to guess.
He could be on a walk or something. I'll just put on a bit of a light smile as I do that. Breakfast, I have rations and rations.
Oh, I'll take some rations.
Here you are.
Any other ideas?
Well, in case he has one of those, if he has something that allow him to call his forces to him, we should probably thin out a few of these flying bastards. Plus, it'd be nice to give those soldiers rest.
Something also to like, do we know anything about them? Like, it seems that all these demons have like they can speak to each other, with their telepathy or some whatever. Like, if we start popping these heads, like, are they gonna know?
That is another good point. I don't. So are we going to sneak on forth? Or do you have a particular plan?
Now, did we have intelligence saying that like the Demogorgon actually does wander the island now and then to check them all?
Hugin pipes up. He says, "No, we've just known that every single attempt has failed in attacking the Demogorgon because the Demogorgon kind of just destroys everything."
So when does he doesn't come around?
We're not sure. This is the closest we've ever gotten. Congratulations.
Okay. All right. Well, what kind of time frame are we on again?
Not a strict one. I mean, we can kind of hold where our positions on the blockades for a decent amount of time, but not a huge amount of time.
Maybe we should give it a day then, just just a 1 day thing, just so we get an idea of the complete cycle of a day here on the island. Does he make a trip at all during the total day? Does he do? Is there any like breaks in the shadow demons? Do they, go patrol somewhere else or check out other things, or just an idea if we get the complete cycle of 1 day?
That's a lot of time sitting around.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay. We can't rush this. There's 3 of us or 4 of us, and if we rush through this, we're gonna die. So if we're not on an extreme time frame, meaning they're not putting the pressure on us, we can use 1 day to make sure we don't screw up.
I'm actually gonna make a check real quick. For just because I know Olger would probably, I would have had Olger do this before, but let me just see. if they'll succeed on this. No, never mind. Carry on. One more time. Okay. Um. Olger. During this time, you have seen Olger kind of just moving around, kind of just wandering. After he took his long rest, he also kind of just left alongside Kalda, but instead of moving with Kalda to investigate the Felidars, he moved around to investigate the rest of the channel. He kind of mapped out. He's been trying to like map out this channel system, and he tells you all that he apparently found something, skin almost. He found a very low part of the. He found a very low part of the island, or at least a very low part in which the channels venture to, and he's not entirely sure what this kind of. It was kind of like this rough skin almost of some kind at the very bottom on the floor of this ship, of this island.
A skin? Like it's made of skin or like shed skin?
Like there's something underneath of the island.
Okay, show us.
Terrifying and gross.
He takes you over to that part. You all venture pretty decently far into this cave system. He takes you to a very low part of the cave system, and yeah, in like a large broken area of the cave system, there is a patch that kind of descends like maybe a foot deep, and there in like this hole is this massive layer of skin. It looks dark, like a very deep and desaturated blue.
Is it warm, cold? What kind of skin is it?
Let me just verify. Yeah, you touch it. There's very faint. There's a very faint warmth. Like whatever this thing is, it's warm-blooded, but it seems like the cold all around it has been like kind of. It's almost like it's in hibernation.
Does anybody have like detect thoughts or anything?
Let me just verify if the others do. Olger doesn't. I don't think Bruga would because they are paladin. Yeah, no, they don't even have access to second level spells.
I am going to splash down one of my uses of holy water over the skin.
Okay. You pour the water onto the skin, and nothing happens. It's not fiendish.
Oh shit! Yeah, I can detect that. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Let's see. Well, it's not one of my favorite enemies. Okay, so
Let me just.
I'm gonna use primeval awareness.
Okay.
I know there's a shit ton of fiends, but I would also know if there's aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, or undead.
Which, by the way, what is your favorite enemy again?
Elves and humans.
Okay, so yeah, no, it's definitely not. It's not definitely elves or humans. You detect a fae presence.
Not bad. Okay,
Which is
so
very weird, because that shouldn't be here.
right, because pretty much everything else is like fiendish,
Everything
right?
else has been fiend. You have been one of the very few Fae that you have seen outside of your Harengun village, and outside of the few creatures that are Fae within Cerdonia. This shouldn't be here. Well, it shouldn't be here for the fact that it's a whatever it is underneath of a mountain, but
Do I know of any Fae that would be this size, or that would hibernate like this, and or in the water, or they have to
it's a
be
very
aquatic,
high
right?
DC. But you, and I really wish we had done your scholarly thing because you might have known about it. But go ahead and make a history check. Or
You never know. Could get a
history,
nat 20.
history or nature, whichever one you want. Well, no, history. It wouldn't be nature.
Okay, history.
Yeah, you have no idea what this thing is.
Well, other than I know it's this is likely a Fae presence, but it's unusual.
A Fae. The hell is
Well,
moving out
wait,
here?
which one is with us again? Which bird? Mugen?
Hugin.
Hugan. Hugan. The queen has Fae ancestry, correct?
The queen does have Fey ancestry.
So, are
And
you guys are you aware of any legendary or storied Fae presences within this area?
Now with that, you're gonna give Olger advantage on this. He's gonna try again. Oh. So Hugin says, no, not really. I mean, Hugin is from, no. Shoot, the queen. Yes, the queen is Fae, but that is because she is from, that's because she's from Vanaheim. It's this large section of the Feywild that kind of intersects with, Niflheim. And Olger kind of looks down, kind of zones out. Mention of Vanaheim. A Lundwalker.
A what now?
He looks to you and he says, "There's no way. No fucking way." He looks surprised, and he looks like you can definitely tell he kind of has the same energy of, this should not be here. What the fuck is this thing doing here? But he definitely seems like he recognizes it.
Can you give us a little more explanation?
In Vanaheim, in the vast oceans of Vanaheim, there are islands. There are large islands, called Loonwalkers. I'm actually gonna send you that. You might all recognize it after my poor spelling of it. I mean, after my poor pronunciation of it. Loonwalkers. They are islands, or rather, they are disguised as islands, but actually they are massive whales with mountains on its back, and they use them to lure in prey before sinking back into the water and drowning them. But this should not be here. Why is there a Lundwalker in Cerdonia?
Maybe there's a way we can use this to our advantage somehow?
That's my 2 cents. I don't. For all I know, this could be something else entirely. I'm not entirely sure if this is a Lundwalker or if this is something else. I've heard of Kindori, massive whales from the astral sea that sail across the ocean. I believe there's a carcass that makes up a city in the continent of Baitor, but that's I'm not sure. This might not be a Lundwalker, but it checks out everything. Massive mountain. Looks like whale skin.
Well, why hasn't it sunk yet then? I mean, there's enough on it, right?
I don't know.
Lixty, could you see if you could uh, telepathically communicate with it? I know your
me?
telepathy is limited, but perhaps you could get something from it.
Okay. He kind of hops back. He hops into the hole, kind of tenses himself up. He kind of tenses up, closes his eyes, thinks about it. It's asleep. It's sleeping. I'm trying to communicate with it, but all I can hear is shh, shh. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what I didn't even think that would be an emotion you can express, but it's just snoring in my mind.
I admit there's been a few times where I felt like sleep was emotion.
Okay. But you get what I'm saying. This thing is sleeping.
All right. Thank you for trying.
Okay, it's sleeping. So we don't, and you don't happen to know if there's a reason this thing is sleeping, like is it hibernating or?
No, I don't. I've only heard of Lundbalkers when they are, when people die on them. When they fucking go into the water and then just drown, and then the Lundbalker goes and eats them. I've never heard of one. Well, I'd imagine they sleep, but I've never imagined them. But I've never heard of them hibernating, let alone, again, in Cerdonia. I didn't even know they could travel the plains.
Well, this is not good news. All the more reason we should try and finish our job more quickly. But I understand surveying.
Well, no. This could be the answer to our problems.
If we could convince it to dive.
We don't have to convince it to dive. It'll probably do that automatically once it wakes up because there's enough food on it to feed it. We just have to make sure it does it at the right time.
I'm actually gonna see if Hugin can do anything as well. Let me check. Nope. Wait. He has suggestion, which could work. He kind of expresses it in a way. He's like, I can cast suggestion, but I don't even know if this thing is gonna wake up upon if I cast it. Let alone if it's gonna work.
Is there any way to cast it through the the little dragon's telepathy?
I don't think I would be able to cast it through a familiar. Not mine, at least. Not unless it's my familiar.
I do have suggestion.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
I mean, you could suggest it wakes up.
But also, yeah, but also it needs to be able to hear you. I don't think it can hear any part on all the parts of its body. You'd have to find wherever it has an ears. Which I'm not familiar with whale anatomy.
Well, that's why I was thinking through the telepathy. When it's direct into mind, but I don't know if that works. I don't know anything.
I would need to have ways of twisting my magics beyond their normal means. unfortunately, I believe that's more of a sorceress thing.
You can actually make Calder, if you want to, you can make a nature check to know exactly if where the ears are on a whale.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
Nope.
you have not. You've hunted
They
many
don't
things
have
in your
ears.
life. A whale is not one of them.
No ears on a whale, I don't think.
No ears.
Well, I mean, the other option that we have is see if we can create enough pain stimulus. Not my preferred methodology because it's an innocent, well, it's somewhat innocent creature, but, you know, hard times and all that.
Also, not to
Could
be
do the
not to be
whole
a military.
smoke down the caves thing.
Oh, like light a fire on its back?
Yeah, and just keep stoking the smoke. I'm not talking about doing damage, with the fire. I'm talking about like make it so maybe it tries to clear its
Not to provide
breathing.
a strategist's perspective on it, but uh, if we were to do it in a friendly way, we might make this thing an ally. I mean, it's from Vanaheim, and apparently, if it is a Lindbacher, but if we were to do it in a way in which it doesn't cause pain, or maybe if the suggestion were to be successful, we would be able to suggest it to assist, to continue working with us.
I have an idea, Sarkeesian.
Yeah.
Why don't you swim around underwater and see if you can find its face?
Water demons?
Well, that was way out there. It wasn't here, and there might not be any around the island. Plus, he's a fast swimmer. He can get back.
Do we even know which direction the head is?
No, but that's why I would have him do it, because he can breathe a really long time underwater.
I mean, I could go on a little stealth mission and check it out.
Might be worth it. Just to scope it.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Mm.
It's so you. By the way, which direction are you starting in? Are you going looking away from the island where you are right now? Are you going left or right? Sarkeesian.
I'm going east.
Okay. Yeah. You. Let me just. let me just do something real quick. So you actually. So you go swimming around the east side, of this island. I'm gonna say go ahead and make a perception check on top of that. Okay. You aren't able to find a lot, and it looks like it's mostly because whatever this thing is, if there is anything, it looks like going deep enough, you would be able to find bits and pieces of this creature that seems to be peeking out from the stone but it looks like the rest of its body is enveloped in the earth. And you're not entirely sure which side you ended up on, whether or not which end of this creature you ended up on.
Okay.
Okay.
When I get back, I share my findings.
Well, that
Maybe
could
the problem
explain why
is
it's not doing anything. It can't do anything because it's not. It's stuck.
yes, it does appear to be stuck.
Well, perhaps we could free it.
How? If it's as big as as he's saying, how the fuck are we gonna do that?
You're a dwarf, right?
Surely you're not suggesting I dig all of this out.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know about rocks. Maybe there's.
I start putting a shovel back away.
Just dig a hole, diggy hole.
Well, I mean, maybe you know about rocks. Maybe
I
there's
do.
like a one place you can hit it, and that'll cause like some sort of chain reaction.
Normally when you survey stone to see if there's a fault to break by hand, it's not an entire freaking island. We would have to do something quite extreme. And honestly, I don't think we're capable of that kind of...
Dusty, go ahead and make me a history check.
What if?
Go
what
ahead.
if we?
Never mind. Carry on. There's nothing that seems to be able to break this shit.
What if? What if we could convince the Demogorgon to, like, dig down or try and flex on the ground somehow, and it could wake this thing up.
It's an even more impressive nat one.
This is not a history check on stonework, actually.
Oh. Thought it would be some craft to catch.
I mean, if you want to make a history check on the type of stuff, you'd actually, well, one, you'd have to actually go down and like see the stone itself. But if you want to, you can try.
I'm good. Well, for starters, how about we go around the island and check out these ruins? Maybe we can find something inside. It doesn't look like there's too many patrols inland.
Okay.
Okay. So you all are going back up to the surface?
Yeah.
Okay. You follow Calda through the channel that he had gone through before, and find yourself in a very ruined city, or like a small village almost. They seem to be dotted all across this island.
Well, I guess we start here and then work our way.
All right, which one first? Right up here is
You
good.
pick.
You see Olger kind of like places a hand, kind of pushes something away. You see him examining the buildings that he walks in on, and he says, "Oh yeah, this is Fey. These buildings are all Fey architecture, or Vanaheim architecture to be more specific. I think we have a Lindebacher on our fucking hands. Oh shit. He's like psyching himself up, but anyway. So yeah, what village are you guys starting on? I didn't see the ping.
I kind of figured with the one that we're at.
Okay. So yeah, what are you all looking for?
Well, if I mean he says this is Fae, so it came over from the Fae.
Yeah, he says it's definitely from Vanaheim. So that only heightens the chances of it being a Lindebacher or Lundbacher, I think. I don't know. However Mimir pronounced it in God of War. A Lundbacher.
All right.
So yeah,
I-
are you looking for anything specific, or are you kind of just moving around?
Looking around for presence of creatures. Maybe those shadows come in here to hide during the brighter hours. Mm,
Okay.
I mean,
And
also you never know. Like maybe the inhabitants here, they were in contact with the creature that they lived on.
and maybe they left something behind, a little on the magical side.
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check. Whoever wants to can do it. Whoever has the higher one can do it with advantage.
I'll take it.
Just so that everybody. Okay. On a 13, it looks like these buildings are all destroyed. They seem very old, aged with time, but they also look raided. Like as soon as the demons took control, they seemed to take control of everything and raided all of these buildings in this village of all of their goods. There seems to be very few things left intact in this village.
This is when we start getting crafty and just start looking for where people would secret things away instead of just the obvious laying around stuff.
You aren't able to find anything with a 13.
Well, being that my buddy here knows more about that kind of thing.
Yeah, like which buildings would be what? Is there any kind of building that would have significant import or meaning? Or, I mean, he seems to know a lot.
Uh, he knows about Vanaheim architecture in a sense that he can tell the difference between a Vanir building and an Aesir building. But not really. But all of them are built uniquely. He doesn't really he's only ever lived in one, which didn't really have any secrets. So he's not really sure about the secrets of the village.
Everybody has secrets.
Not any that he's willing to express, but not any that would be helpful in this situation.
I know. I assume that the biggest building, or maybe would be the one, or any that would have like, if we found more books in one, or remnants of books or scrolls, that would be another one to look through a little bit more
Uh,
thoroughly.
you'd be able to find a building with like what looks to be a library, but the roof has cascaded. It almost looks like the entire building was vivisected in whatever destroyed this thing in the first place. Uh, but the uh, but the parchments and the books that all remain are charred, destroyed, barely raidable, and it mostly seems like nonsense. It almost looks like stories, but nothing too discerning. Looks like whoever was here, it was just a simple village in Vanaheim.
Can we see the big place from here?
Yeah, that would definitely be possible. You would be able to see it towering in the air.
What do you guys make of that place?
Well, just from the look of the land, it doesn't look like it's quite the same. So I don't know if that's actually connected to this great creature that we're talking about.
Well, Olgir kind of pipes up. Well, Lundwalkers are very strange, cause they have lobster claws. They have little appendages that kind of outstretch from the sides of their bodies.
So it could be on
So
one
there
of
is
his
a
arms.
possibility that if we wake this thing up, it'll just like do a very big yawn stretch and just break that island. If it's not already an appendage, that'll just shatter because it all looks like a giant glacier that castle's built on.
So back to how do we wake this thing up?
Back to how do we wake this thing up?
Um, Perhaps one of these villages has a temple with a grand bell upon its tower. We might be able to ring it with that. And, well, if there is one, we could ring it to see if we can awaken the slumbering giant below.
Okay. If you guys want to, you can make another investigation check, whoever wants to, with advantage, to try to find a bell tower of some kind. It would be, looking at the buildings around you, you wouldn't really be able to find an intact bell tower, but there is a possibility that if there was ever a bell tower, the bell would still be somewhere.
If they're going to stick it anywhere, it's probably going to be centermost, so it's easier to access by all the sides of the island. I'd bet if there was one, it'd be that centered grouping.
I just imagine that GIF is Sarkeesian's thought process. He's
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah, that could
exactly.
work. Just fucking, just fucking punching the shit out of that, out of its little.
Go to his throat and start punching. I need a good punching bag anyway.
um, while it's still day, how about we try and move our way up to the centermost and
Okay.
see if we can find any
With
more
that,
clues.
I'd also like an investigation check with advantage for whoever wants to, and a stealth check from all three. Those with familiars can get advantage on this, aka
Alrighty.
just Dusty. Okay. Let me. You should be fine. Should be fine.
Who would like to investigate?
I'm not that great at investigation, but I'm not horrible.
Should be fine. Let me
All
turn
right, well, I'll give you a hand. Take lead, sir.
Great. Okay.
Uh,
18.
Okay. Also, so, Brugo and Ulger are actually going to stay back. Ulger's gonna try to find a way to commune with this Lundbacher from where it's visible in the cave system, and Brugo is just going to keep gonna just hold the fort in the campsite just in case anybody finds them. Which, by the way, those phantom steeds are still intact, so you're also kind of just hiding them alongside in your cave. But regardless, so on an 18 to investigation, you all venture. You said you were venturing to the to the center village.
Yep.
Okay. There, directly in the center of the village, is a square, pillarous, looks like a tower that, like all the other buildings, has been vivisected. But investigating, kind of looking at like what looks to be like it looks like this entire island was just struck with a massive explosion, like something centered in a somewhere away from this island blew up, and everything in this village was destroyed.
Maybe whatever that was knocked this thing out.
Actually, Sarkeesian and Calda, Calda, if you want to, you can make a history check on the possible explosion. On a 5, because you wouldn't have advantage on that.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to fix it.
Yeah, there's been explosions before. Nope.
I know what an explosion is.
You've never seen anything like this before. You kind of discern where the blast came from, and from all the bits of rubble that are dotted across and almost scattered, and you eventually find stone, encased in snow, a bell. It looks like whatever was holding it up has been completely eviscerated. The bell itself looks actually completely intact. It's weird. And there are bits. It's made in this it looks mithril. Like this mithril bell that has been forged. And there are bits of glyphs and runes that are etched into the lowest brim around the building itself.
Clearly not magic.
Worth a fortune, I'm imagining.
Whoever wants to can make an Arcana check.
Oh,
Fucking nat 20. So
That's right. Tell me.
You've been a bounty hunter. You've been dealing with some magic shit. Don't like it. Never have. You look across these runes and you recognize these are Sylvan. Do you actually know Sylvan?
I do.
You do know Sylvan.
Yes, we went over there.
You recognize this language. There's all these glyphs and all these runes that are all etched in Sylvan, and you look around the rune, and it looks like this bell has constant bits of spells engraved into it. It's like a giant spell circle along the center brim that kind of multiple different rings of thermaturgy.
Oh, so it rings louder than...
It makes it a lot louder. Thermaturgy allows you to expand your voice to a very large area of effect. There are 5 spell circles etched around this bell, all thermaturgy.
Well, this is enchanted. And I believe it might be enchanted to be very loud. Like louder than it should be.
well, that just wants me to keep it even all the more. But for
Maybe it wakes up the stupid whale thing.
I want to wheel into the middle of a city, enchant it with knock, and hit it once and go to town.
yeah, unfortunately, I think anything that hears is going to come running. If we could get it up into the tower, back up into the tower, I bet I could use Blix. to swing the bell back and forth and ring it while we're off to the safety. And once it's rung, just pull them to me so there's nothing there for them to attack.
Calda and Sarkissian, on a passive perception of 15 and 16. As he says, as Dusty says, this could be heard by other people, or this could draw people's attention. You hear the very faint crunching of snow, like somebody's walking along, like somebody is approaching in the snow.
I do the hand signal for hide or somebody's coming.
Okay. Go ahead and make stealth checks, whoever's going to use the hide action.
I am going to use the hide action.
Okay. Dusty, do you have
God
advantage
damn
on
it.
that?
I thought I was getting Blix to help.
I mean, you can.
Yep.
Okay. And Corey, does Calda have anything to amplify that?
Other than if it's in shadows.
It is still pretty day outside. It's like midday at this point. You've been exploring these villages for quite some time. The sun has been coming up. You all kind of try to hide in these ruined buildings, which you can hear the creature approaching from the opposite side of, and clamoring. You hear two sets of footsteps, and that is because as it approaches into view, you see the demented visage of a Felidar, slowly stalking, looking around, trying to find something.
Does this thing count as an animal?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, it counts as a... Are you referring to the beast
Not for
classification?
spells, but like if I wanted to try like animal handling.
I think that would... It's an animal, but also it's a fiend. It's considered a demon. It's not really considered the beast classification. And even if it wasn't a fiend or undead, it would be a celestial. So,
Well, I was thinking like if it has the mind of an animal, then animal handling might be effective. I don't know.
I'm gonna say you're gonna roll this if you want to try to animal handle it. It's going to be with disadvantage.
Understood. That makes sense.
But as it stalks around, kind of creeping around, and it kind of seems to look into these buildings, and out of the corner of its eye, it's able to catch a glance of Calda.
Glorious.
Do you want to try to animal handle it, or are you gonna?
I don't want to get eaten.
Of it just seeing you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll use animal handling to see if there's a behavior or something I can do to, like dissuade it or
Okay.
equal it. You know how like you're supposed to handle bears and stuff.
Yep. Before you roll the check, how exactly do you attempt to animal handle this thing?
Well, they're aggressive, and they're sort of like always looking for a fight, but they're not stupid either. So I think I would try and just generate like a dominant aura, like a more of a like it'd be a mistake to come at me or whatever. I'm not inviting attack. I'm more inviting like reconsider.
Okay, so with this,
You see what I'm saying?
would instead be an intimidation roll.
Okay, so roll intimidation or
Roll intimidation.
okay. That's not great. But what are you gonna do? At disadvantage or normal?
Because it's not just roll normal intimidation. Okay. So you you're essentially like standing off, like in a sense you're still trying to hide, but you're looking at this thing trying to intimidate, like don't fuck with me right now. And this Felidar kind of sees you, jumps into, kind of moves itself, pivots so that it's facing you. Its teeth begin to snarl. You can see pits of smoke kind of just begin to envelop like the flames of a dragon between its teeth, and it slowly begins to stalk you before it comes up and rushes towards you.
Okay.
Do you want to make a dex? As it leaps, you two are about maybe 10, are about like 20 feet away. It makes it about 10 feet, leaps in order to try to get into the building that you both are in, but mid-air, a flash of celestial gold just swipes it out of the air and takes it out of your sight. It's just gone.
Where did it land? Where?
It went right, and it went out of your sight. It went in. It went behind one of the buildings, and you can almost hear it. You can almost hear it tossing with another creature, as it seems to. And it doesn't even seem like it's an even fight. Like it's angry. It's almost like whining in pain and like scared. Like, what the fuck is this? As it's like trying to, as it sounds like it's struggling to. From this surprised attack from this unknown creature which again you guys can't actually see because it's because it's being behind another building.
Go
Well, I'll.
sprinting to see and try and help. That could be an ally.
Okay. You're able to see it as soon as you like vault out of the ruined building you're in. You look at this creature. Its visage is almost shrouded in snow, which is picked up as it's almost seemed to have dragged this Felidar across the snow. You could see this massive track mark, revealing the charred earth underneath. A fog of snow kind of envelops it, and you can see the shadows of this creature. It almost looks like a winged creature. Large in scale that just seems to be pouncing and almost has its mouth on the Felidar's neck as it's just squealing, trying to get up, and you hear a and the Felidar drops limp. Almost shadowy smoke seems to rise into the air and flake away, like its spirit leaving its body. The creature steps back, turns back to you, and you see the same eyes that you saw in the woods, glowing in celestial gold, looking to you. Dusty.
Who are you?
It slowly steps out of this fog, comes into clearing. Another Felidar. But this one is not tattered, it is not undead, it is not broken. Not entirely. You see it step out. It's majestic. It's white fur, completely healed and like snow white, almost camouflaging with the snow. It stands proud. No black smoke. Its eyes are pupils of celestial gold as it looks down to you with this prowess of a lion. It has these massive angelic wings that are unfurled but retract as it begins approaching you. But something catches your eye long before it does anything else. Its tusk has a similar tusk sticking out from the sides of its face, but one of them is missing, broken. As it looks down to you, Dusty, and in a stoic and deep-seated voice, I believe it is time we had a talk, Dusty of Hearthole. And that's where we're getting the session off for tonight.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Because I was running out of ideas of what the fuck to do.
You
Need more
recognize
brains.
this guy? Do you do you recognize this guy?
If it's the one with the tusk that I took, then
Yeah.
wouldn't this be the one that attacked my caravan?
Yes. But you don't even recognize. This looks stark in contrast to, like, the Felidar that had attacked your caravan looked almost just like the ones that you see are corralled by all these shadow demons. The only thing that makes you automatically assume it's the one that you had fought is the broken tusk.
Oh boy. That's going to leave me pondering until next game.
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, which is only next week.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, guys.
All
I'm
right.
gonna bounce.
So that is,
Thank
yep,
you
that
for
is
running
the end
this.
of session 6. Thank you all for joining, and I will see you all next time. Hopefully we'll have Kato and Ethan with us next time. Take care all.
All right. Later.
Later.
Are you waiting for me to leave? I'm just wrapping up the stream.
Oh, I'm just doing my thing where I nerd out my head over what's going on and go through 1,000 possibilities.
Hell yeah.